Hey everyone, and welcome back for another deep dive with me, Shane.
And I'm Erica.
We're diving back into the world of Kecia's tour life.
Oh, yeah.
Kecia's blog is awesome.
Yeah, it always feels like we're right there on the road with her, experiencing the thrill of live music and discovering these new artists with her.
Yeah, it's like a musical travelogue almost.
It is.
With Kecia as like our intrepid guide.
Exactly.
So speaking of exciting discoveries, this deep dive is all about Kecia's experience seeing rising star RAYE in concert.
Oh, cool.
And getting to meet her.
Wow.
For those unfamiliar, RAYE is a British singer-songwriter who blends like soulful vocals with a really modern pop sound.
Yeah, she's got a really unique style.
She absolutely blew up in 2024 and even snagged 3 Grammy nominations this year.
Oh.
But what's fascinating is that Kecia saw her live back in 2023.
Really?
Well before those Grammy nods and the massive success of her debut album, My 21st Century Blues.
So it's like she had a front row seat to RAYE's journey to stardom?
Totally.
That's so cool.
So Kecia's blog post, From Viral Sensation to Live Legend, starts with her discovering RAYE's song Escapism on TikTok.
Ah, yes, escapism.
You probably heard it too.
Of course that song went mega viral.
It did.
I feel like it was everywhere.
Yeah. And Kecia describes that moment. She heard it as like a lightning strike.
Wow.
And I think that perfectly captures that feeling of like discovering an artist who just clicks with you.
You know that feeling when you just hear a song and you're like, oh yeah,
That's it?
that's the one.
Yeah.
And Kecia didn't just like casually add it to a playlist. She went all in.
Nice.
Got a ticket to see RAYE at Kemba Live in Columbus, Ohio.
Oh, cool. I've heard of Kemba Live.
And even snagged a meet and greet package.
She did not.
She did.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
So now Kemba Live is a pretty cool venue.
Yeah, tell me about it.
It's a standing room only space downtown, which creates this really intimate vibe.
Oh, I love that.
But Kecia gives some practical tips too, like mentioning that they're super strict about purse size.
Leave those oversized totes at home, ladies.
Definitely good to know.
But I think what's really interesting is that she's been making music for 7 years, starting at just 17.
7 years. That's serious dedication.
I know, right?
Wow.
And we're not talking about just like bedroom recordings here.
Right.
She'd already written songs for some huge names.
Like who?
Beyonce, Rihanna, John Legend.
Oh my goodness.
It's mind-blowing.
It really is.
So do you think that songwriting background played a role in her success as a solo artist?
Oh, absolutely. I think you can hear that same ability to tap into like raw emotions, that understanding of what makes a song really connect, in her own music.
Yeah.
She honed her craft kind of behind the scenes and then brought all of that experience to her solo work.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
I think so.
Okay, so let's get to the concert itself.
All right.
Kecia describes it as next level, and she even got a bonus treat with the opening act, RAYE's own sister, who goes by this stage name. Absolutely.
Wow, a double dose of talent running in the family.
Right.
That's awesome.
It's clear from Kecia's account that absolutely warmed up the crowd perfectly.
Nice.
Setting the stage for RAYE's entrance.
Cool.
So RAYE takes the stage with a full band, and you could practically feel the energy through Kecia's words.
Something.
Powerful vocals, magnetic stage presence. It sounds like she owned the entire room.
I love that.
And what's striking is that the audience was already fully invested, like Kecia mentions. They knew every lyric.
Really? Wow.
Which speaks to how deeply RAYE's music was already connecting with her fan base even before the album's official release.
That's wild.
I know, right?
Especially for an artist who, wasn't super well known at the time, at least not in the U.S.
Yeah, and she played a mix of songs, right?
Yeah. What was on the set list?
Tracks from My 21st Century Blues, like Oscar-winning Tears, Hard Out Here, and Black Mascara.
Okay.
But also some earlier work.
Oh, cool. So she threw it back a little bit.
Yeah. And I love that she included those earlier songs. It's like a nod to the longtime fans who had been following her journey from the beginning.
Totally.
But of course, the moment everyone was waiting for was escapism.
Oh, yeah.
You can imagine the energy in that room, phones lighting up, everyone singing along, and RAYE just commanding the stage.
It must have been electric.
Oh, it sounds amazing.
I'm kind of jealous.
Yeah. And that song just has such a unique vibe. It's pop, but
Yeah.
with this dark, almost gritty undercurrent.
Yeah, it's got an edge to it.
Yeah.
For sure.
And the production is interesting, too, with those, like, dark, synth-driven elements that give it an edge you don't often hear in mainstream pop.
Right. It's not your typical bubblegum pop song.
No, it's not.
It's got depth.
It does.
It's complex.
Exactly, and it reflects that depth and complexity of her music. It's not just catchy tunes.
Right.
She's dealing with themes of heartbreak, resilience,
Mm.
the complexities of navigating your 20s in this day and age.
Yeah, it's real.
It's real, and that rawness is what makes her resonate so strongly with listeners like Kecia.
Absolutely.
It's about feeling seen, heard, understood.
Exactly. It's like finding your tribe through music, you know?
Yeah, and I think that's a big part of why Kecia was so excited to meet Raye.
Oh, totally.
It wasn't just like meeting a famous person. It was about connecting with someone whose music had touched her life.
Right, like on a deeper level.
Exactly.
It's cool.
So speaking of which, let's dive into the meet and greet.
Okay.
Kecia dedicated an entire blog post to this encounter when I met Raye. So, it was special.
Clearly.
And this is where we really get a sense of Raye's personality off stage.
Oh, I love that.
Kecia describes it as feeling more like hanging out with a friend than meeting like a global superstar.
Oh, that's so sweet.
She even opens with this funny anecdote about calling Raye gorgeous and Raye immediately complimenting her back.
I love that.
It sets the tone for this genuine, warm interaction. Even playfully threatened to be upset if Raye didn't win a Grammy.
Good for her.
But then there's this hilarious story about the vinyl signing.
Oh, no, what happened?
Raye accidentally misspelled Kecia's name on the album.
Oh, no.
And she was mortified.
I bet.
She insisted on getting a fresh copy and signing it correctly.
Oh, that's so sweet.
It's endearing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Even with the pressure of a meet and greet line, she wanted to make sure everything was perfect for Kecia.
Yeah, it shows she really cares about her fans.
And it sounds like the photo op was equally thoughtful.
Oh, how so?
Raye took her time even suggesting retakes to get the best shot.
Oh, that's awesome.
So what do you make of Raye's surprise at the U.S. audience knowing her music?
That is interesting.
Kecia mentioned that she was almost worried her music hadn't made it across a pond yet.
Right.
Is that like genuine humility or part of her stage persona?
Ooh, that's a good question.
Right.
It's hard to say for sure, but I tend to think it's genuine. Yeah, I mean, even with all her talent and experience, there's still that vulnerability, that desire to connect with audiences on a real level.
Yeah.
And it speaks to Kecia's experience as well, being at that show in that intimate venue, feeling like she was witnessing something special before the rest of the world caught on.
It's like she had this backstage pass to Raye's rise to fame.
Totally, and that's so cool.
So we have this amazing concert, this personal connection at the meet and greet.
Yeah.
I can see why this is like a highlight of Kecia's tour life.
Oh, absolutely.
And remember, all of this happened before those Grammy nominations and Brit Award wins.
Wow.
Kecia got to experience Raye's raw talent and energy in this intimate setting before the hype, before the awards. It's really quite remarkable.
It is.
It makes you wonder what Kecia thinks now, having seen Raye's journey unfold and knowing that she was there at the very beginning.
Oh, for sure. Like, it's got to feel pretty special.
Right. It's like watching your favorite indie band go from playing small clubs to selling out stadiums.
Totally. You feel this sense of pride like you were part of something special from the start.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
And it really highlights the power of discovering an artist early on and following their journey.
Absolutely. And it makes me think about Raye's relationship with her fans, too.
Oh, yeah.
Kecia's experience at the meet and greet really highlights how Raye connects with them on an individual level.
Right. It wasn't just a quick photo op and a signature. She took her time, made Kecia feel seen. And those little details really matter.
They do. They show that Raye values her fans, and that's something that resonates deeply, especially in today's music landscape.
Right.
Where it can feel so impersonal sometimes.
It can.
Yeah.
So we have this incredibly talented artist, this authentic connection with her fans.
Yeah.
But let's talk about the elephant in the room.
Uh-oh.
The Grammys.
Ah, yes, the Grammys.
It's interesting, isn't it?
It is.
Kecia saw Raye back in 2023,
Right.
before she was even on the radar for a Grammy nomination.
Yeah.
And then fast forward to 2025, she's got 3 nominations, but no wins.
Oh, wow.
It's almost like the Grammys were playing catch-up after completely overlooking her in 2024.
Yeah, it does seem that way sometimes.
There's been a lot of discussion online, particularly from Raye's UK fans, who felt she was snubbed.
Oh, I bet.
It raises some interesting questions about how these award shows operate and what it takes for an artist to be recognized.
Right, like what are the criteria?
Yeah.
It's a bit of a mystery sometimes.
It is.
Like, is it just about sales or is it about something more than that?
Right. And it's not just about Raye either.
Yeah.
There have been many artists, especially women and artists of color, who've spoken out about feeling overlooked by the Grammys.
Yeah, that's true.
It's a complex issue that speaks to larger conversations about representation, genre bias, and how these institutions grapple with recognizing artists who don't fit neatly into predefined categories.
Yeah, you know those boxes that they try to put everyone in?
Right.
It's just not how music works.
And it's a shame that it often takes public outcry or social media pressure for them to take notice.
It does make you wonder how much they're really paying attention.
Right.
Yeah,
It does raise the question of how much weight these awards really hold.
that's a good question.
Do they truly reflect artistic merit? Or are they more about industry politics and popularity?
It's probably a bit of both, if we're being honest.
Yeah. And for artists like RAYE who've already built this strong connection with their fans,
Right.
do these awards even matter?
That's a great point because ultimately the real reward is the music itself, right?
Yeah.
The connection with the listeners, the shared experience that transcends awards and recognition.
And for fans like Kecia, it's about supporting artists they believe in, whether or not those artists receive industry accolades.
Exactly.
And speaking of journeys, we've covered a lot of ground in this deep dive.
We have.
From Kecia's initial discovery of RAYE on TikTok to that unforgettable concert experience and meet and greet, we've really gotten a sense of RAYE as an artist and what makes her so special.
Yeah, she seems like a really genuine person and a super talented musician.
She does.
It's been a fascinating exploration of talent connection and the power of music to bring people together.
It has.
And it all started with Kecia and her passion for sharing those musical discoveries with the world.
Absolutely.
And for anyone who hasn't had the chance to experience RAYE's music yet, we highly recommend checking her out. You can find her on all the major streaming platforms.
Seriously, do yourself a favor and listen to My 21st Century Blues.
Yes.
It's an incredible album that showcases her raw talent and vulnerability. And if you're looking to expand your musical horizons, I highly recommend checking out Kecia's blog. You'll find reviews, travel tips, meet and greet stories, and a whole lot of heart.
Oh, I love that.
You can find her on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube.
All the socials.
All the socials.
Nice.
And of course, her blog is at keciastourlife.com.
Perfect.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive, and until next time, keep exploring the world of music.
See ya.